So, thanks to you, Hannes, for the invitation to talk about this. I've been hearing reports of attacks on Iranian universities for a few days now, and then I'm afraid I forget whether it was yesterday or the day before. Out of the blue, I got a mail from somebody working in Norway, whose name kind of sounds Iranian as far as I could tell, who shared with me a petition whose title you see on this slide. So, protect scientific institutions in Iran and ensure accountability for aggressors. And just below, you see a link to the site for the petition. So I looked at this petition, which seemed to me very apt and well phrased. So here I just reproduce the petition, and so I signed. And Hannes tells me that I was actually, if I'm not mistaken, Hannes the first person to sign, which, if nothing else, indicates my enthusiasm for the cause. So here, the first paragraph talks about various attacks on laboratories, universities, hospitals, and other scientific institutions in Iran. And one of these is actually one that I've been to. That's the Isfahan University of Technology. So it must have been about 25 years ago now that I was in Iran for another purpose, which I will describe in a moment. And I was invited to give a talk at a small workshop on string theory hosted at the Isfahan University of Technology. The other ones here, I don't know. So as it also says in the first paragraph, Iran also threatened to retaliate on American and Israeli campuses in the region. And so already the fact that Isfahan University of Technology was attacked hit a nerve. And it talks about retaliation on American university campuses. That also hits a nerve, in particular because there are American campuses in the Gulf countries that I have visited and that I know and have been involved in setting up scientific collaborations with, as I'll come back to later on. So the next paragraph describes the basis for the petition. And the third paragraph calls on parties to cease such attacks. And it calls upon the United Nations, UNESCO, relevant international bodies to take appropriate action. And finally, it says science is not a military target, and urges the international community to protect scientific infrastructure. So I thought that the petition was extremely good, which is one of the reasons why I signed it. Without hesitation. I think Hannes, you also liked the petition. So
yes.
So the petition website has these images that show pairs of pictures of institutions in Iran that have been attacked. So website, I think, does not say which universities or other institutions these are, but you can clearly see this classroom is the same as that classroom, and that this courtyard is the same as that one, and so on. So I would strongly encourage you to look at the petition website, consider signing it yourselves, and share the information with your friends and colleagues. So let me describe in a little bit more detail why this hit a personal nerve with me. So for many years now, I've been engaged in trying to encourage scientific collaboration around the Middle East and between the Middle East and CERN. And so the first country in the region that I was engaged with was in fact Iran. That was actually back in the early 1990s. I visited there a couple of times for scientific meetings. And then around the year 2000, we got word, actually through UNESCO, that Iran was interested in establishing a formal connection with CERN. So I accompanied the then CERN Director General Luciano Mariani to Tehran, and I took a side trip to Isfahan that I already mentioned. And we actually signed a governmental agreement with the government of Iran in 2001. Subsequently, the collaboration with Iran has developed very nicely. You can see here a list of the institutions that now collaborate on CERN experiments. So the lead institution here is IPM. So it's got a long title, but you can think of it as the Institute for Physics and Mathematics in Tehran. And they've got quite a large group that participates in CERN experiments, also accelerated development and theoretical physics. I mean, my introduction was through colleagues in theoretical physics. And so you see here another one of the institutions that collaborates with CERN, and was attacked, as already been mentioned, with the Isfahan University of Technology. I have no idea what has happened to these other universities, because as you know, there's no internet connection. The only way of transferring information is through a Starlink or some other expensive option. And I just don't know, for example, what's been happening with my friends and colleagues at IPM in Tehran. Okay, so that was the first country with which I was engaged at a personal level and also on behalf of CERN. So subsequently, I got involved in developing collaboration with the various Gulf states. So I visited the United Arab Emirates for the first time in 2003. In 2006, the Emirates signed an international cooperation agreement with CERN. And now there are these 4 universities in the Emirates that have formal collaborations, in particular with the Atlas experiment at CERN. And I've highlighted here in particular, NYU has a branch in Abu Dhabi. So that's one of the American universities which Iran is now threatening to attack. So I've actually visited NYU Abu Dhabi on several occasions. The most recent was earlier on this year, just about a month before the war broke out. So I've been in contact with my colleagues subsequently. They're all fine. Teaching was online for some time. And then the professors and other academics were given permission to leave the country And one of them I know is here at CERN. Another one is in Cambridge and so on. So I don't think the professors are any immediate danger. I might mention that NYU has a very diverse student population. A lot of students from the Middle East, obviously, not just Abu Dhabi, also from Asia and also South America. So it truly is an international university. So then here I mentioned Qatar, which also signed an international cooperation agreement with CERN in 2016. And at the moment, there's just one university that is collaborating actively with CERN, Hamid bin Khalifa University. Previously, there were two other universities that were in contact. One of them I've highlighted in red. Texas A&M has a university branch in Qatar. And in fact, my introduction was through a lady professor from Qatar University. So Texas A&M University no longer seems to be actively involved in experiments at CERN. But clearly, they would very likely be on the Iranian target list if it comes to that. So, that's what I wanted to say. This development of attacks on Iranian campuses is something I feel personally. Likewise, if there are any Iranian attacks on universities in the Gulf states, I would also feel that personally. And having spent quite a bit of effort trying to develop collaboration with and among these countries, very sorry to see what's going on. Okay, so that's what I have to say.
Thanks a lot, John. This very interesting and informative presentation. I stop recording now. And